The cold darkness of space stretched endlessly. A massive warship, the Zephyrian dreadnought, drifted through the void, its black metal hull reflecting the distant stars. On board, Supreme Commander Vok Thal of the Krivith Empire stood tall, his four crimson eyes fixed on the holographic display in front of him. "What is this creature?" he asked, his deep voice rumbling through the command deck. A nervous Kragith officer tapped on the controls, enlarging the image. It was a lone human, standing on the war-torn battlefield of Theta 9, a desolate moon on the edge of the Empire's territory. "Supreme Commander, this being is called a human. Our scouts reported that he wiped out an entire battalion of our soldiers, alone." Vokthal frowned. "Impossible. No single warrior can defeat a Kragith battalion. We are the apex predators of the galaxy. What is his weapon?" The officer hesitated. "That's the thing, sir. He used their own weapons against them. He fights with nothing but stolen Kragith blasters, knives, and his fists." A murmur spread across the bridge. The Kragith were over 7 feet tall, with natural armor plating and strength capable of crushing steel. No species had ever dared to challenge them in direct combat, let alone a single warrior. "Show me the battle footage," Vokthel ordered. The holographic screen flickered to life. The video began with a group of Kragith warriors advancing through the ruins of a human outpost. Then, out of the shadows, the lone human appeared. His armor was battered, a mix of scavenged Kragith plating and human combat gear. His face, partially hidden behind a cracked helmet, was splattered with blood, not his own. His stance was relaxed, almost casual, but his eyes burned with a deadly focus. The Kragith opened fire. The human moved like a ghost, weaving through the hail of plasma, rolling and dodging with unnatural speed. He grabbed a fallen Kragith rifle, fired 2 precise shots, and took down the first 2 warriors. Before the others could react, he closed the distance, using a combat knife to slice through armor joints. In mere seconds, an entire squad lay dead at his feet. The video continued, showing more battles. The human never hesitated. He fought with brutal efficiency, using the environment, enemy weapons, and sheer unpredictability. He set traps, ambushed squads, and even took down a Kragith assault mech by climbing onto its back and shoving a grenade into its cockpit. By the time the footage ended, the command deck was silent. Vokthal's claws tightened into fists. This is no ordinary warrior. This human fights like a demon. What is his designation? The officers swallowed hard. Our spies intercepted human transmissions. They call him Commander Jack Reynolds. The survivors speak of him in hushed whispers. They call him the Reaper. Vokthal snarled. "Send a platoon of elites. I want this Reaper dead." On Theta 9, Jack Reynolds crouched behind the remains of a destroyed Kragith dropship. His body ached, his left arm was bandaged from a plasma burn, but his mind was sharp as ever. He checked the stolen Kragith rifle in his hands and listened to the distant thuds of approaching footsteps. "Finally," he muttered, "they're sending in the big ones." A dozen Kragith elites, larger and stronger than the regular soldiers, stomped into view. Their dark red armor gleamed under the pale light of Theta 9's twin moons. One of them, clearly the leader, raised a massive energy sword and bellowed, "Human, your reign of terror ends here." Jack sighed and stretched his shoulders. "You guys never learn, huh?" The Kragath charged. Jack moved. He fired a burst of plasma, then dove sideways as an energy blade slashed where he had been a second ago. He rolled, grabbed a fallen Kragith grenade, and hurled it at the nearest enemy. The explosion sent 2 elites flying. Another lunged at him. Jack sidestepped, grabbed its wrist, and used its own momentum to flip the 7-foot alien over his shoulder, slamming it into the ground. Before it could react, he jammed a knife through the weak spot in its neck. More plasma fire rained down. Jack sprinted, zigzagging through the ruins. He grabbed a discarded Kragith shield and used it to deflect shots while returning fire. Another enemy fell. Then he faced the leader. The massive Kragith warrior roared, swinging its energy sword in a deadly arc. Jack ducked, feeling the heat of the blade scorch his helmet. He countered with a swift kick to the alien's knee, making it stumble. In an instant, he snatched a plasma pistol from his belt and fired point-blank into its exposed throat. The elite collapsed, choking on its own blood. Jack exhaled, scanning the battlefield. Silence. He tapped his comms. Command, this is Reynolds. Theta 9, it's secure. Send a cleanup crew. Aboard the Zephyrian dreadnought, Supreme Commander Vukthal stared at the latest battle report in disbelief. 1 human, 12 elites, all dead. A deep silence filled the command deck. Fear and motion the Kragath had never known crept into the minds of the warriors. Vukthal clenched his jaw. We cannot defeat this creature. We must retreat from Theta 9. The order was given. The mighty Kragath Empire, conquerors of 100 worlds, abandoned the battlefield because of a single human. And across the stars, a legend was born. The Reaper, the one who made aliens regret ever challenging humanity. As the Zephyrian dreadnought left the sector, whispers of the battle spread across the galaxy. Some feared the Reaper, while others admired him. For the first time, the invincible Kragath Empire had been humbled. But Jack Reynolds knew this was only the beginning. Sitting against the ruins of Theta 9, he reloaded his weapons and smirked. They'll be back, he murmured. I'll be waiting.